Hey everybody. Yay! It's Friday. It's just about midday. Hope you've got something to drink. Hope you've got something to keep yourself topped up. I've got my cup of positivity, and it is actually tea. It's Yorkshire tea at that. So, good strong stuff. This is a little track. Called Night Driving, which is quite inappropriate because it's the middle of the day. But there you go. I hope you like it. It's actually a free one that you can use on StreamYard. If you've never come across using StreamYard, it's interesting. So many people have never used StreamYard when I talk to them about coming on as a guest. It's a bit like Zoom, in that you just click a link and then you come through, but you come through to like a backstage area, and then you can just join in, and then they've got all of this wonderful stuff that you can do, like put banners in place, put a background in, and you can even have rubbish music like this. Ooh. Hello, sir. You've got your cup of positivity, but yours is cup of positivity. Is that Coke or Pepsi? Let's stop the music now because that's getting on my. It's Pepsi. Yeah. Other forms of Coca-Cola.
It could have been Dr. Pepper.
Could have been.
I suppose.
Is that colour though?
Dr. Pepper.
Is it?
Yeah, that's coloured, I think.
It's kind of that colour, is it? Dark?
I don't know. I haven't had Dr. Pepper in years.
It is kind of dark, isn't it? I know which one I was thinking of. I was thinking, no, it's orange, but that's Urn Brew, isn't it? Urn Brew.
Urn Brew's bright orange, so there's no
bright
way.
Orange.
I'll tell you right now, there's no way that is Urn Brew.
I'm always a bit worried about drinking something like Urn Brew.
It's meant to
be move that down, and I won't
naturally flavoured.
Is it? So why is it that bright? Is that carrots in there, do you think?
No, it's the thing they use to flavour it, I think.
Okay. All right. Just worried that it'll come out the other end, that colour. I mean, it's a Mountain Dew as well. That's
Dew's bright green.
That's bright green.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
why.
Have you noticed, if you actually take Mountain Dew and you mix it with Urn Brew, you don't get a mixture of orange and green. You don't.
Oh, I've never mixed them, to be honest.
No, it doesn't work like it doesn't work. Yeah, all those coloured things out there.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in, and because I think it's the best money maker ever, is the soft drinks revolution in terms of water. Right, all of these fancy waters now that you can get by the side of the road that are effectively water with a little tiny bit of flavouring in, so that actually you sit there and you go, I think it's flavoured. I think apparently that's elderflower. I mean, it tastes like sparkling water, but apparently it's got the essence of elderflower in.
Essence of elderflower. An elderflower. A little hint of it, a hint of elderflower.
But the fine romance of cardium, just lifting off the palate. But honestly, I bought some of those once, and I bought 3 different flavours. Sat there on the way home from London drinking them, and I could not tell the difference. I honestly could not tell the difference between any of them.
Bought this. This sparkling lemon and lime water. This tasted very strong of lemon and lime. That
actually tastes of lemon and lime.
Yeah, it's 22p in Lidl's for a litre of it. I mean, didn't seem like a bad deal to me.
There you go. Yeah, no, the ones that I'm talking about cost a little bit more than that. Obviously, other supermarkets are available, as are soft drinks. There we go. We do have a guest coming on shortly, so we look forward to that. So I thought today, as a little outer ring, we'd have macaroons or macarons.
Little macaron.
Which flavour would you prefer? Which one would you like?
Of any macaroon.
Or
of the ones on screen?
probably the ones that are on screen at the moment.
The pink one. The pink one would probably be great.
Your brother couldn't have that though.
No, probably not. But I think I would like the pink one, although it really depends on the flavour because it's quite hard to tell what that is.
It could be beetroot, couldn't it?
Yeah. And if the yellow ones were lemon, I would probably prefer the lemon ones.
Yeah.
But it's very, very difficult to tell. It certainly wouldn't be the chocolatey thing. That would probably not be the one that I'd go for straight away. It would be one of the fruit ones.
Now, I did part of that decision was based on colour, and I actually did a poll on colour earlier in the week.
Oh.
Okay. It's quite interesting. Some of the feedback, some of the comments, some of the results from that. I deliberately limited in the actual poll bit itself, limited the choice to 4 because, funnily enough, LinkedIn only gives you 4 choices. But obviously, I deliberately as well didn't pick some of the ones that people would have liked to have been in there. And then, in fact, I included pink and red, which are very close to each other. And then one of the other questions I asked was, how do you feel about the limitation of the color choice here? And actually, so some people did comment and say that it really quite irritates them, really gets them quite upset.
Not having the choices.
Not having choice.
Well, I can understand. I suppose you would like as much choice as possible. If you have a favorite and it's not on the list, then you probably don't feel as included in your poll.
But ultimately, I mean, do you think color's important in terms of marketing?
Colors have historically always been important in terms of marketing. The amount of money that has been spent on researching how different colors affect people is probably a shocking amount of money to most people. Shocking. Like I would at a guess. I mean, I don't have the figures, but I would guess it's in the billions. I mean, Santa being red and not green, that's Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
that's all them. So
there you go.
That's a famous color thing from advertising.
And then, of course, people like yourself that are behind the camera sometimes go and ruin it all for everybody by making everything in black and white. And on that bombshell, let's bring in our other guest today, who's Sue Todd, who also stands behind the camera during the day. Hi, Sue. How are you? You're on mute. Let's just, if you can unmute yourself there. Can you see that?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's all right. It's new technology to you, I know. But you're lovely lamp in the background. Wonderful.
I had to swivel to the window because the light's so bad here today.
That is a tremendous accent as well. Where are you from?
I'm up in Northumberland.
Ah, what a lovely part of the world.
It is. Well, mostly it's a bit grim today.
Is it a bit grim? It's sunny down in Somerset.
Oh, send some up here. It's horrible.
So let's do a quick weather check because I'm in Somerset and it's actually lovely, clear blue skies, sunny today. Northumberland is a bit grey and miserable, and then Addy is in Cheltenham, so we get in the middle of the country as well. That's
as always. I'm sat in a basement in Cheltenham. Do not know what the weather is like.
Not even popped your head up through the periscope to find out.
My window's not even. My curtains are closed. Let me try and peek through the side. Okay, there's some light coming through, so I suppose
it might be okay.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do? You need to order a Just Eat person to come.
I normally sit in a darkened studio, so I know the feeling.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I will message my housemates right now, and they can tell me what the weather's like.
They can give you that.
Yeah. But I've got my lovely film light here giving me some tungsten warmth. So it's sunny in my mind.
No, there we go. So Sue, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Oh, I'm a food, drink and hospitality photographer.
So this was perfect having lovely macaroons in the background.
I know. I noticed that as I came on. Yummy.
I understand the link.
Yeah. So what's that involved? Do you actually get to eat And that's the main question we all want to know. Do you actually get to eat
Quite
anything that
often,
you...
not always, and
Ooh.
sometimes you couldn't always eat it anyway. You know, there'd be far too much. If you're in a restaurant, there's just like no way you sample the odd bit. If you're actually cooking and shooting in the studio, then that's a different thing. And yes, you do.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you get to sample some lovely things. I had a studio full of cheese quite recently and fresh eggs.
Ooh, I love that.
And chocolate. So, you know,
That's a hard life.
hard life.
Yeah, no, there is. Now, I remember growing up, there was always this, I don't know whether it was a myth or whether it was real, but there was always this thing about some foods, especially for things like fast food restaurants, the photograph that you saw, that wasn't real food. It was like a model or whatever. Is there any truth in that?
I think there's a lot more CGI being used now. So that does happen. And you do get some people, and quite a few stylists, who will use different things to make the food look better. Sometimes even I will occasionally use a cocktail stick to lift something up so that you can, if it's a heavy bun, so that you can actually see what's inside, but not to the extent that it looks unreal. You know, everybody knows about sort of McDonald's burgers or whatever, and that they don't tend to come out from the shop the same way as you see them on the picture. For me and what I do, I need to put the right story out for clients. So yes, it's got to look its very best, but it can't look unreal. It has to look authentic.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
I don't think it would be doing me or them any favors if it wasn't that way.
Do you know, you're just making my mouth water just thinking about what it is that you do. Well, do you have favorite jobs?
No, but I don't think I do actually, because they're all different, and there's bits in them all that are really good.
Yeah. So it's the variety that makes the job, if you like.
Yeah, I think so, because, you know, one day I can be out on a farm shooting hens. Another day I can be shooting cocktails in a bar, or, you know, making food fly in the studio. It's always different.
Making food fly. Now, come on, we need to know more about that. Making food fly.
Yeah, that's where you've got, well, one that I did was a bottle of cider, the glass with some poured in. No, was it? No, it wasn't. It was just the bottle of cider, and then the different tasting fruits that went into it in the air as if they were coming down. Yeah, which is quite fun to do and can take a good bit of doing, because you've got to get them to stay where you want them to get the shots.
Yeah. So is there ever any overlap? I mean, Addy here makes film. Is there any overlap there? Do you sometimes, you know, venture into like video of this stuff?
I've done little bits of video, and I like working with videographers, because then you can do all kinds of extra funky things, and you can give them some nice, really high-res shots that they can use within the video and things as well. So that can work really well. So yeah, always open to things like that. And I'm sort of I'm working at the minute on something where I want to slow the video right down, so you can actually see things happening as they happen. As a
you can't say too much because it's a secret project. Yeah.
Secret.
Addy, have you worked with food at all?
Yeah, I've actually about 4 months ago I did a project with this photographer who was doing a project based on like this bar startup that was doing fancy cocktails that were all like themed around. I think it was like Norse theme. It was like Norse gods or something. All the cocktails had a Norse god theme, and they were taking photos and we were filming it. So yeah, I've done that sort of thing once or twice. We also I worked on a film at one point that was a narrative. And we had this insane shot where a burger had to fall out of the sky and just land there. And it was all basically they wanted it to land in individual bits and build up as a burger and then be complete. We had to line up everything on fishing wire above where the camera was, and then just cut all the wire at the same time, and it just fell one bit at a time. And then landed.
Really?
I mean,
wow.
It took ages to reset every time we got it wrong, but it was great.
Yeah,
it's great fun to do, though, isn't it? I love doing things like that.
Yeah, and typically, Who are, is it end users that is the target market for this kind of photography, etc., or is there sort of a B2B market in terms of this kind of photography as well?
I think it can go both ways.
Okay.
Sometimes you've got a client who's wanting to get the end consumer in, and sometimes it will be a food company who's trying to sell to other people within the trade. So you get a bit of both.
That's brilliant. We've got a couple of people watching. We've got to say hello. So Susan, hello, all the way from Ontario in Canada, and also Bill, nice to see you. Susan said she loves shots in the bar, but I think we were talking about photographic shots. Maybe we all love shots in a bar, Susan, but maybe a little bit early on a Friday for that. I don't know what the time difference is there. But, you know, I just actually had a business meeting with someone, and I lifted up my drink, and they went, "Oh yeah, I forgot the coffee." And then they said, "Actually, maybe it should be wine." And I said, "Well." Bit early. Bit early.
Not.
You know, at least leave it until after 12 before you start that on a Friday. But there you go. Oh dear, oh dear. Yes, that's it. That is it. There we go. So, what got you into this, Sue? I mean, did you just? I mean, you obviously started off. Did you study photography and etc.?
No. I've always wanted to do photography from being young, but I stumbled into catering to begin with, which is where the foodie side comes from. And I enjoyed that, but only up until the point where I was having children, and then really the hours didn't work. So I've run a catering kitchen, I've run a bar, all kinds of things there. Then for my sins, I stumbled into computing, as you do, which was okay for a while. It stopped me getting bored, but gradually managed to bring my photography into that, because we were working to begin with a lot of e-commerce clients, and then some very high tech where we needed the training stuff to be just so I was doing that. And I was moving towards being on my own, and in 2014 I moved out to do what I really wanted to do, and I've never looked back. It's great.
And so did it help having come from the catering food
well
side?
Because
did
I love
help?
food anyway, and all my family does. We're really into food, and we used to grow a lot of our own food, so that all helps. So when I got more and more into doing photography for clients, it just made sense to go more towards food, and it's just evolved from there, and it's just lovely. I love doing it. And of course, you get to sample all the wonderful things you do.
I mean, that's just brilliant. I mean, it's a well-known fact, okay, that food just brings people in. You know, it's even churches use food to market, right? You know, I mean, just think about, if you look at the food calendar, or the calendar of any church, it will be we're having a meal about this, or we're having a ploughman's lunch here, or whatever, because you know, people follow their stomach.
They do, and we like to share food, and it brings people together. I think one of the nicest things I've heard was somebody, I put a photograph up, I think it was on LinkedIn, and somebody said that they were vegan, but it still made them hungry, and I thought, that's great.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was my day made.
I won't ask you to get political on that, but I do find it a little bit odd where we've gone with all of that in terms of vegan food. I love, you know, I used to go to a festival every year, and I really loved the vegan food tent. And the reason I loved it was because actually they delivered up something really different, and it had pulses and this and that and the other, and it tasted amazing. I'm a little bit confused with food in supermarkets these days, where it's like, this is not bacon, this is not chicken. Well, if you don't want to eat those things, why make it look like that? I mean, I'm just not sure.
No, it's a funny one, that one. I mean, I've always loved veggie food. I can cope with some vegan, but I'm not keen on pretendy things.
Yeah,
pretendy things. Want a better expression. Yeah,
I
prefer food to have food in it as opposed to something that's manufactured. But
yeah,
That's
Have
me.
you had to? I mean, you might not be able to say, but have you had to photograph any of the pretendy things?
I don't think I've done
Because
anything.
I think that would be quite difficult.
Yeah, I
I
was approached once by somebody at sort of high-end fast food, and I think possibly when they'd had a deeper look, where I was on the whole food thing perhaps didn't sit so well. But I do feel very strongly about food and it being looking right. And yes, it's got to look good, but it has to still be authentic for me.
Yes. Now, final question for you, Sue, and I hope this is a good one for you, is what would be the ultimate challenge in terms of type of food to try and sell through photography? I mean, you know, I'm thinking of something like Marmite or...
Oh no, you just put it onto toast.
But you just that's right. So what's the most difficult thing to really get right in terms of...
Oh, there's all kinds of things you can have difficulty with. You know, I mean, you can have an argument with a lettuce because it won't blooming well sit where you want it to. But I think
sit there, lettuce.
Yeah. But I think one of the hardest things possibly is actually to work with chocolate.
Right.
It's really unforgiving. It's gloves on and you need the temperature right. You can't have it too hot. You can't have it too cold.
Right.
And I think actually ice cream's probably easier in many respects because it's more forgiving and you can mold it back or whatever else. Chocolate, if it gets marked and it gets marked so easily, even taking it out of the wrapper, is much more tricky. But I like doing it just because it is tricky.
Yeah. So is there you know, a little trick of the trade? Is there a way to unwrap chocolate that
just very, very carefully with gloves on and make sure you've got spares to one side and nobody touches any of it until it's a wrap?
Susan says because you want to eat instead. You can just imagine, yeah. Where's all the props gone?
No.
Yeah.
It can get tempting. No, that bit you eat might be the one bit you needed.
Yeah. After the shoot.
Yeah, but
Then
only afterwards.
After the shoot, but only after the shoot. That's absolutely fine. So what? So I've learned a lot there. That's absolutely brilliant. So if people need photography of, so it's food. What were the other things you take photos of?
Food, drink, lots of cocktails, and hospitality.
Yeah, if you need,
and the people who work in that area, of course, as well. That's also
photograph that. Then give Sue a call. You can find her on LinkedIn. Her details will be in the links. And Sue, if you need to do video stuff, you know, Addy's your man. There you are. You can connect on LinkedIn.
I will do.
There we go. And that's just like that. I don't even know how I did that sound effect. It was just like that. But no, thanks for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
cheers. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Wow. Brilliant stuff, right?
Yeah. No, really, really good. I honestly, let's put the brand back up because we can do that now. But I didn't know there was so much involved.
Do you know, I did know there was quite a lot of fakery and stuff that goes on in this, because there's quite a lot of videos going around of like different ways that things have been faked in stuff. I could probably eat it all. I think some people who are less hesitant to fake things and not use products that are edible do things like using PVA glue rather than milk for cereal and stuff like that.
Imagine that on your cereal.
You probably wouldn't want to eat it on set after that. But you'd try and trick someone into doing it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. PVA glue. Yes, Addison. You can tell fake food shots. Can you though? Can you? I mean, that's the thing. And especially, as I say, I mean, when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was always talked about that it was models that had been made, and then people had photographed models of things, because if you took a photograph of actual food, it would look, lettuce, that sort of thing, lettuce would look limp or whatever. But you could tell when, like, some, probably not one of the big chains, but a lookalike chain down the road had like its whole board made up with these models. It was like plastic burgers, or fake chicken sticks things that with a coating, because other places are available.
Tell you what, we've got in Cheltenham, we've got two places that have clearly bought the same stock image of a burger, and they have it on their menus in different places. They're not owned by the same person or anything. It's just they're both using the same picture of a burger. I mean, it's just...
And what's really great about that is then when they tell everybody it's their unique burger.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they come up with some kind of brilliant name for it. This is the Manhattan, Oh no, ours is called the,
ours is called the Mountain, the
Mountain, the Wanderlust burger. Yeah, it's just mad. Oh, funny, because down the road it looks exactly the same, but it's 30p cheaper. Yeah,
the product's going to be different either way, because the picture's not representational of anything. I've got a response back on the weather update if you'd like it.
Oh yes, please, that's great.
I said, what is the weather like today, lads? And someone wrote, beautiful, mate. So there you go, it's beautiful outside apparently.
Beautiful. So
Beautiful,
a quick weather forecast for you if you're traveling through the United Kingdom today. Basically, down from the south and into the southwest, the weather is warm and balmy with a little bit of cloud in the sky, but not very much, clear skies. As you make your way up through into the Midlands and the middle of the country, it continues in that vein. And then as you move across slightly more easterly up into the northern parts of England, it's dull, dreary and slightly wet. And it's normally like that. So that's actually, there you go. That's the whole of the weather forecast. And I didn't need a £1 million computer to do that either.
And a little bonus for anyone that's in London. One of my mates in London also responded and said, too warm to wear a coat. So don't wear a coat if you're in London, apparently.
Yeah. And actually that's very sensible advice, because probably if it's too warm in London to wear a coat, then by the time you go down onto the tubes, you can increase that temperature by about 10 degrees. So, it's not called the Waterloo to baking line for nothing,
Exactly. So if it's 12:30 in London and you, for some reason, haven't set off to work yet, please do not wear a coat on your way.
I think this is actually our guess. It's not always gloomy up north. No, it's not. No, it's true.
No.
Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? I grew up in a home where ice cream took up half our freezer. What? Half your freezer? My dad made it every day. I've never seen fake ice cream photo. Imagine half your freezer.
Well, you can make ice cream out of, we do it on film. Like in films, we make ice creams out of like mashed potato. Like freeze mashed potato. It holds
it looks quite similar, doesn't it?
It does. And actors can still lick it and it still comes off. It's just
cold mashed potato. Cold mashed potato. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just mashed
potato.
potato.
You have, and you don't realise it. Look, all of the tricks of the trade coming out today. All of the tricks of the trade. What have you seen in the week? Have you seen anything in the week marketing wise? Any adverts? Anything on TikTok? Anything on social media that's particularly sparked your interest?
Sparked my interest in terms of what people running adverts in certain ways.
Yeah, or doing something different.
Yeah, I saw. I'll tell you what I did see. I saw the Ryan Reynolds advert for awareness of testicular cancer.
Oh right.
Where he did it as Deadpool, and it was very funny and very satirical. That was interesting. That happened this week.
Yeah.
The Obi-Wan trailer came out on May the 4th, obviously. So Interestingly, lots of people saying that the Obi-Wan trailer, like they're very excited for the show. They think it's going to be awesome. They weren't particularly excited by the trailer. They just don't think it's been cut in a very interesting way.
Right.
So that's
the trailer makes the film dull.
Like the trailer doesn't. It's a series. It's a TV series.
Oh yeah. The series. It doesn't make you want to.
Doesn't make it look very interesting. People saying they're trying to squash too much into a small thing.
Yeah,
because it's very like separated shots.
Definitely. Well, there you go. That's interesting. I haven't. Have I seen anything really interesting this week? I've certainly seen less people. And in a way, it's slightly worrying. I've definitely seen less people actually posting about the Ukraine crisis.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the general, no, not the general election. Maybe it's because of the local elections. That obviously there's been a huge amount of news about the local elections the last couple of days. I think actually the biggest sort of stories that are coming out of that, more than anything, is probably the and it's becoming quite common now in recent years, is the amount of discussion about how many people aren't voting in particular areas. It really, in some areas, it's really quite down in terms of voting. Obviously, you know, if people haven't kept up with it, the general consensus is that Labour have gained a number of seats over the Tories in the local council elections. The Tories kind of knew that was going to happen, and now the big call. And it'd be interesting to see what happens over the next few months. Is that Boris just needs to go? But who takes his place in the Conservatives? Who does?
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean,
to get all political on everyone. I mean,
let's face it. All of the main protagonists were at that party as well. So I mean, who are they going to call? Ghostbusters. Yes, fantastic. Are there any films before we go today? Are there any films that we should be going out and seeing at the moment?
Are there any films that have just come out that are good? Tell you what, I went to see The Norseman. I think I've already talked about this before, but I'm gonna say it again. That was really good. If you don't mind a little bit of blood, then go and see The Norseman. Well, it's quite a lot of blood. If you don't mind quite a lot of blood, go and see The Norseman. It's very good. Doctor Strange came out yesterday. I haven't gone and seen it yet, but
that's one for today or tomorrow.
Yeah, that's bound to be very good. Those of you, for a little bit of trivia about Doctor Strange, despite me not going and seeing it yet, this is Sam Raimi's return to superhero films. Sam Raimi, very famous and prominent indie director who directed The Evil Dead and used to be a big horror director. He then was the director and producer for the first 3 Spider-Man films that ever came out. The ones with Tobey Maguire in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And ever since Spider-Man 3 flopped, he's kind of been a bit quiet and hasn't really worked on very much. And lots of people say that basically it's kind of tanked his career because that superhero film didn't go very well. And then they've managed to get him back out of retirement to come and direct a new superhero film. So it's all
to play for.
All to play for. This one, the new Doctor Strange apparently has more elements of his horror work in. So if you're interested in a little bit of horror in your superhero film, go and see that.
I have to say, as a character and as an actor, I really like Doctor Strange. I think Benjamin's brilliant.
I think he's really cool. He's pretty much my favorite MCU character. I think he's pretty amazing. I only prefer. Who's your favorite? Let's start with you, actually. Who's your favorite?
I'm actually going to say Doctor Strange, and I would actually go and see that as a film because I just think There's that he's got the comedy element to it. You know, the sarcasm is brilliant. You know, the kind
he
of
is very good.
Yeah, that it's kind of, you know, almost the fact that he looks down his nose at like the other superheroes, because they might be muscle or, but he's basically, you know, all powerful.
He is meant to be insanely powerful. I think he is one of my top characters. He's definitely probably my favorite remaining character. I really liked War Machine or Iron Patriot, whichever form. The one in the black Iron Man suit, who is the first on-screen disabled superhero. If you've, for those of you playing along at home, first on-screen. Needs better lighting. Hold on. I mean, it probably won't be better, but I can swap over to.
Addison Cove does need better lighting. If anyone wants to sponsor his lighting, that's fine.
There you go. Now I'm in the white instead of the tungsten. If you want to sponsor some better lighting, that would be cool.
A better way to do lighting would love to get that. So yeah,
interesting. Also, this is a quick thing that I want to give a shout out to our Kickstarter for Overwhelmingly Gay and Chaotic. My documentary that I'm working on at the moment is getting very close to being done, and we just need a few more generous people to come and donate, and then we will be over the milestone. We currently have 88% of our budget raised. We're at £1,700 and something pounds.
That's gone up quickly.
Yeah, it's really jumped up this week. We've had a lot of engagement from big members in the LGBT community, and we're just looking for the last people to come on board and really push us over the edge.
That's really good. And of course, one of the things you get if you do actually put some money into that, the right amount of money, is you do get to see Addison here performing drag.
Yes. So if you put in the right amount of money to get onto any of the tiers that give you access to video of the crew doing drag, you get 6 hours of footage of start to finish the crew getting into the drag, and then you get the performance footage as well. So each member of the crew gets into drag with a famous member of the Brighton drag community, and then each of them performs with that moment, with that drag queen. So you can see a joint performance of a very amateur drag queen and a very experienced one put together. It's great. It's great stuff. It's very funny. There's also a bonus video that we filmed that we haven't announced yet, so this can be the debut of that. But there's a bonus video of us taking off our makeup afterwards, and those of us that are not experienced of taking makeup off, it's very funny to see us struggle. Me and Gabe, our sound designer, spent a good 20-30 minutes trying to get foundation off our face.
And they did it all with fake ice cream. And did it work?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd bring it back to that. But listen, everybody, thanks for joining us today. That's it from us for today. We will be back at the same time, or maybe a different time, actually, next Friday. But we'll let you know. If you haven't already followed A Better Way of Life on our business page, do that. I'm glad to see, the number of followers has gone up by about 20 or 30 people this week. So yeah, please do follow, because then you'll get notification that it's going to go live. We'll be back again next week with some more guests. I've got some more guests lined up for next week. Oh, who will it be?
Lovely guests.
I'll tell you right now, it's not Benjamin Cumberbatch.
It's not Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's Tom Holland.
It's Tom Holland. No, it could be.
That's right.
Do you know what? It's much more likely that I can find someone that's actually called Tom Holland.
Next week, we promise a Tom Holland, maybe.
We're going to scour LinkedIn to find Tom Holland and then actually advertise it. Tom Holland is on A Better Way to Do Friday.
I'm connected with one of the people that used to do theatre with Tom Holland back when he was Billy Elliot. Not that I think that would mean we could get Tom Holland on here, but that's a little tidbit.
Tremendous. Well, I interviewed. I love those. One degree of separation. This week on the music interview that I did, I interviewed someone that worked with Jane McDonald.
Ooh.
Did a tour with Jane McDonald. They are.
There you
So
go.
that's as close as I'll probably ever get to interviewing Jane McDonald, but you never know, it might happen. I'd love to interview Jane McDonald. Probably not about music though, just about what it's like to be, shipped from one part of the world to another, and
Yeah, I get you. I'd love to talk to Tom Holland about the fact that he's retiring for a few years. That would be great.
What's he going to do? Is he going to take up
raise
golf?
a family. He's already
raise a family, or play golf, maybe.
I don't think Zendaya is going to let him play golf for 4 years.
He might get a really good handicap.
He might be really good at golf. You never.
4 years from now, you might see Tom Holland on the PGA Tour. Oh man, I've given up acting. I'm now.
Why is he American?
I don't know.
Holland's British.
Well, yeah, but go over to America, won't he? To do his golf, and they'll just have an American accent, and he'll be doing golf. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction anyway. You watch Tom Holland PGA golf 4 years from now.
I'll watch out for Tom Holland on the PGA golf circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next week, everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll see you then. Bye for now.